Welcome, everybody. Episode 41 of the latest. Brad, I've been walking into stores and I've been seeing like pumpkins and things for Halloween. Crazy that we're already on the other side of Labor Day, at least here in the US, but just out of summer, I think, for the whole world.
David, last night I took my son and got him a Halloween costume
Wow.
because he's a little kid, and I said, why not let him have it in September? He can wear it, he can dance around. He danced for in the store, he put it on and danced for 5 songs. Like we were there and he's just dancing, and I was just like, yeah, he's a little kid, go for it. So yeah, it's Halloween. We're on the other side of Labor Day. It's Halloween season, let's call it. But what's not getting scary is AI. AI is getting less scary, David. One of the things I have to share is that OpenAI has announced they've maybe figured out why language models hallucinate, which is the scariest of scaries just for everybody, for individuals, for businesses, that if you're going to rely on it, like someone did in, I think, Asia, they represented themselves in family court, and I think they cited 14 made up ChatGPT invented precedents or cases, which I mean, at this point, come on,
But
isn't
Brad,
it?
we're in our bubble, right?
You know,
Some people have never heard of ChatGPT or maybe even vaguely. Then they have an instance to use it, and then they're like, "Oh, what? It can do this? I'll just do that." And not understanding some of the fear, some of the things
yeah,
you need to
yeah.
be careful of. I think I told you at the AI4 conference they had 3 security sessions. I think
Mm.
so. Anyway, I just feel like right when we saw Mike speak a week or two ago on Saturday, no mention of privacy and security. So it's kind of, let's leverage these tools. Let's also be careful. Maybe that's better for the human brain as well, because we can keep it active, and not just dumb ourselves down.
Well, there's two mindsets, because in one mindset, banks get robbed, digital banks get robbed, computers have fraud, but no one would tell you to keep all your cash in a shoebox and use pen and paper. That's not the global way. So there's risk with everything. It's just good to be aware of the risk. And one of those risks is hallucination, which is sort of like a mental construct for the people using the computer. When you're using a language model, it's the human error that this language model is going to do what you want it to do. Instead, it's like a trick. It's like, I don't know, I bet you I could guess the next word. It's sort of like a trick. It's like, I bet you I could guess the next word, but it's not a person reviewing it. And we call that hallucination. And a few days ago, right, we're on the 11th, this is the 5th, and it says why language models hallucinate. So it's from OpenAI, so from ChatGPT itself. And then they say, what are they? It's plausible, but it's a false statement, right? And they're teaching it to think. Um, and they said maybe there's a better way. And then they figured out maybe this is how they originate, because they're predicting the next word. And then they have some conclusions. They said the accuracy will never reach 100%. So that's a really important thing for our audience to think about, is that the company that has the biggest reputation for helping you use what we're calling AI or AI software, a language model, ChatGPT, they're saying their finding is today that they think it'll never be 100%, regardless of any factor, because some things you just can't answer. So some questions that you ask, it just won't know. Um, some people say that they're inevitable, right? Which is different than 100%. Some are saying it's inevitable that it will hallucinate, and this is saying maybe not. And what they can do is they can abstain when it's uncertain. So what they're going to say is like, actually, I don't know. So I think that's their solution in saying like, hey, you know what? We're just going to say we don't know. Some people said that if you want to avoid hallucinations, right? Because these are the claims that they feel that like people using the tool are claiming that to avoid hallucinations, you have to have like the supermodel, right? It's only available to larger models. And what they said is it's easier for a small model to know its limits. So if you ask something of a smaller model, it could just say, I don't know. And now these tools are being calibrated. Um, some people claim that hallucinations are a mysterious glitch. And actually, they're saying we understand it, right? And then some people think to measure it, we need a good hallucination evaluation. And they're saying, well, they haven't published, but a good one has little effect against all these different evaluations that penalize humility and then they reward guessing. So they're saying like people want it to guess and they don't want it to be humble. And they're saying the answer is the language model should be humble. The language model should say, you know what? I don't know. That's outside my depth. I'm not going to guess on that. The point is, these companies are now announcing, yes, there are hallucinations. There might always be hallucinations. It might be better with the smaller models because it'll just go like, I don't know how much fuel that airplane takes to get from this point to that point. I don't know. I don't know how big the tank is in the airplane. You shouldn't just fly your airplane off into the ocean and trust that ChatGPT said we'll get you there. I'm being humorous, but like those are the kinds of things you could see someone doing. Being like, I don't know. I asked ChatGPT how much gas should I put in my boat to cross the Panama Canal, and then now I'm stuck, right? So
Totally.
I had that. The other cool thing I had was on this screen, this one, from Claude. So Claude can now create and edit files. So for people who use AI software like I do, right? This is my lineup these days. This is us right now, the latest filming. I use ChatGPT, which I think you do as well, David,
Oh yeah.
right? I use Claude from Anthropic. I use Gemini. I use Grok. I use ITHI, which is a super cool tool. We'll just pop it open in a second. I use Manus, Miro, Notebook, and Perplexity. So if you guys want to see ITHI, I think it's a low monthly fee if you want to pay. I think it's like $5 a month. And what it does is it makes articles, and the articles are built from all these different sources, including all the language models you would want to use. So if you want to use like all the language models all at once, try ITHI. You can try it for free. But Claude, one of the big large language models, says you can now create, and edit files. All right. So it can now create and edit Excel spreadsheets. So I've got a database of who can work at my restaurant, right? Imagine I have a restaurant and I've got all the names from Alice to Zach, A to Z. And then I'm like, who can work there? And then I just tell it, actually, you know what? We just hired Quincy. It could go, all right, here's Quincy. And I'm like, Quincy only works on Saturdays and Tuesdays. And then it could edit that in and be like, great. And then like, you know what? Then there's Bill, and Bill can no longer work Thursdays. It could go and do that. So it can edit Excel spreadsheets.
And Brad, are you on? So you're on this. I'm just seeing the video. Okay, there we go. Got it. Okay, I was a little lost. Got it.
Yeah, so Claude can now create and edit files. Claude can now create and edit Excel spreadsheets, documents, PowerPoint slide decks, and PDFs directly in Claude and the desktop app. Okay.
Have you played with any of the slide decks yet?
I haven't played with the slide decks yet. What I did yesterday was I connected my Google Drive and I said, what's the outline for screenwriting in my Google Drive? Right? What does it say? What's the best summary for a course outline? And it searched my drive, right? And then it said it didn't find that exact string, screenwriting outline course structure curriculum. So try a broader search, screenwriting course, right? And it found several documents. It fetched the files and it gave me a course outline. And then I said, could you add it to my drive? It says it couldn't, right? Which is all right. I did this on my phone. Let's see if the other one pops up. Yes, it did. Okay, so check this out. So it made this suggestion. I just clicked yes to try it. I did this on my phone. I'll say that again. I did this on mobile. So this popped up when I said, do you want to try this new feature? I said yes. And it said schedule a focus time block, all right, over the next work week that avoids conflicts with existing meetings. How vague is that? You're like, just look at my schedule, find a time that's open and book me. And then it said, show me some nearby coffee shops where I can work and set a timer for a deep work session. It did this on my phone, David. So it went through my schedule. I gave it permission, right? It went through my location. I gave it permission. And it says, I can see you have a busy schedule. Let's look at your calendar. It created a 2-hour focus block. It created an event in my calendar, right? It scheduled a 2-hour deep focus block. And then it told me some nearby coffee shops, right? And then it turned on the timer on my phone.
Wow.
And it took like 10 seconds. It was just like, hey, do you want me to look through your calendar, find when you're not busy, block some focus time, find a coffee shop and set a timer for 90 minutes of deep work? I said, sure. And it just went do. Here's what's in your neighborhood. Here's when you're free. I'll go in and set your timer. I mean, it was impressive, David. It was really impressive. So those are two things that Claude can now do. It can edit your files. If you want, go to the Anthropic news page. You can just Google like Claude blog and it'll come up, or Claude news. What else I've got is there's new stuff from NotebookLM. So NotebookLM is a favorite. It looks like this. It's free from Google. Notebook language model from Google. If I create a new notebook, I can discover sources. So I'm like, you know what? I want to learn about African zebras. I want to learn about American alligators, anything from A to Z. You can discover the sources. It'll Google it. It'll give you, I just clicked the random button. I'm feeling curious. It'll give you 10 articles from the internet, and then you can choose them, right? If you want to just do the research, look at this. Diamonds, amethysts, emeralds, opals. Love it, right? If I didn't like emerald history, I could deselect it, right? I could import those. People have seen this before on the show. Or I could add them from my computer. I could add them from Google Drive. And once you have a notebook going, you can talk to it, you can chat with it. It's your own little information source. So now NotebookLM turns notes into flashcards, podcasts, and quizzes. So if we go to an existing notebook, sometimes I've got these ones with fun topics from just whatever. Guide to going viral, sure. There's 3 panels in Notebook. The left-hand panel is all of your sources, right? So this one just has one, the guide to going viral. The middle panel is your chat. There's a bit of dialogue, and at the bottom, you can chat just like it's ChatGPT. And on your right-hand panel is your studio. If we zoom in there, we can see it's the studio panel. You can make it so it makes a 2-person podcast that now has editing features. You can get a video overview, so it's a slideshow added to the podcast. A mind map is great. The reports are awesome. Flashcards are new, right? And an interactive quiz. So you can generate AI flashcards. So I just clicked that button, right? I guess it clicked twice, right? It's based on one source. If I wanted to, I could base it on a lot of different sources. But that's something interesting. A lot of people, David, they love entertainment on social media. I saw this stat yesterday. I showed it to you and Brooks and Michael that Hootsuite, the company that does social media posts, Hootsuite is saying that if you are 60 to 80% entertainment on social media, that's the sweet spot. I'll say that again. If you put out 100 social media posts in a year, 50, 60, 70 of them should be entertainment. So flashcards might be really entertaining, you know? It's just something novel, something to click at, because the way people communicate today is largely entertainment based. It's less information based than you might think, or at least they want to put some information inside the entertainment, which is, I think, David, why we keep the latest nice and light.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's, in this world now where there's so much coming at you on the daily, right? I mean, I think this month Sora was removed from some enterprise packages, right? And then it looks like it's still in others or something. But if you're a big media company and you've got an approval, they vetted some of these products, you just have to have a news source, and you have to have multiple. That you're just staying on top of things. There's way too much stuff going on, right? Whether you're an individual, a big company, small company, individual that wants to go to a big company, this probably help you market yourself. But I do, but I just have, it's been pretty amazing just seeing some of the biggest corporations in the world and speaking to them and just saying, well, what do just right, there's just not a fast way to do this, so you got to stay in action.
Now that's with Stone AI.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, and that was, yeah. And we certainly, we run into this with just some of our clients, right? That range anywhere from huge media companies, networks, small startups we work with. Pretty much whoever wants to tell their story with provenance. So
Yeah. So it's like TV ready. It's like made for like companies, corporations, organizations, but also like it's made for like major television networks and major film studios that you're going to be using legally responsible and legally permitted footage to create AI images.
Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
no, it's AI workflow, right? When we are doing reenactments and things like that, depending on, we work with a lot of production companies, depending on where the show is going, we have to know what their current, what their current,
Oh, yeah, what companies they approve.
right,
Yeah.
tools they approve or companies they approve. You know,
So
Higgs Field. I don't know if we mentioned the show yet. You know, Higgs Field. Put your stuff in Higgs Field. They own your IP. Right now, are they changing that? I know they did just change something there. I haven't had a chance to look at yet. I think it's two G's. Um, and they just raised another 50 million yesterday, I think.
wow. Yeah,
So
I saw there was one company that raised $1 billion for quantum computing. It's
yeah,
there. It's
I just, God, Brad, I just came across that last night too when I was wrapping up for our quantum course.
yeah.
I saw that. That's funny. You saw that too at the same time. Oh, maybe you get a link SV newsletter. Did
Eh,
you get that?
might have
Yeah.
been. Yeah, might have been your newsletter. So for some reason, this is taking a lot longer than it normally should. We're kind of stalling around. Let me show you this. In my saved file on LinkedIn, my saved posts. Um, Check this out. So I think I sort of teased a while back that I had early access to a platform, and they said, "Oh, we can talk about it once it comes out." So this came out 3 hours ago from Yassine at Kinetics. So check this out. So Yassine is saying this marks this technology, this development, this new product marks the next chapter in AI video that you don't have to settle for whatever video models spit out. So you can gain true control. Until now, video models lacked a 3D understanding, and the outputs were unpredictable. The character motion could be broken, and the worlds might be inconsistent. And today, Kinetics unveils the world's first 3D conditioned AI video model. It's backed by years of expertise. They're uniquely positioned, and now they're using this to pioneer the foundation of tomorrow's controllable and 3D conditioned video model. So this is about 20 seconds. So check this out. Let's start it over here. Can we start it over? Maybe we'll just watch it. So what you do is you map out what you want in a 3D world, right? Let's see if we can get this to restart. Watch again. So we have our ballerina, and all of a sudden she's on stage. Oh. This is important, David, is that traditionally, right, if I swapped in a false background, it would be like a green screen effect. I couldn't move the camera with a lot of the software. That was the issue. For those of you who don't know, we've reached a point in AI software or in imagery software where you can take a person in motion and then change the background out. It's not that complicated. It's not that rare. But what Kinetics is doing is they're saying, now let's move the camera around. So it goes from a view of this amphitheater or theater, and now you can see the window on the side. You can see a different angle. So it's like you have a cinematic experience, but there's more. So here's what they're doing. They're letting you put a first frame up, an acting reference, and a camera motion. 1, 2, 3. So if you notice there, this is a guy on a chair in an apartment with a fire extinguisher and a bunch of stuff, right? But what they had before was what they want. It's like, you know, the gangster's basement with the single light bulb on the chain and the brick wall, right? But what they're filming is just a guy in a regular chair. And the camera motion, they're telling you the path they want the camera to travel. So you've got a 3 axis. You can do left and right. You can do towards the subject or away from it, or you can tilt up and down. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're getting like as if the camera is there. It can zoom, it can tilt, it can pan, it can move around the subject. And this was a guy sitting in a chair in his little apartment. And now it's this interesting, unique location.
Interesting. Yes, I want to see this. This is This is really cool. Where are these where's this
Kinetics.
company based? Where's this company based? I'd just be curious.
What do they say? Hold on, let's go back. Come on, everybody. Too many clicks, dude. Too many clicks. I feel like there's a RAM hog on my computer. It might be something else I was doing. France.
Mm, interesting.
So I wanted to show you that, and I wanted to show you. It always defaults to save jobs. This stuff is so old, but I don't know how to switch it from that stuff is from years ago. So it was Kinetics, and then a nano banana post. So this is the next leap is sketch to pose. So they're using Taylor Swift. So you know that Taylor Swift didn't show up for this, right? This is not really her. But check this out. They use sketches, which I would guess you can get your chat to create, right? And then this is FreePik, the software, using Nano Banana. So they used sketches of a ballerina to pose Taylor Swift. They inserted Daniel Craig. And now look at that. This still looks like a video game, but a photo of Taylor, a ballerina's pose. Now Taylor's in the ballerina pose. That's pretty amazing, David.
Crazy.
I've not used FreePik much, but I think there's something there. And then I had, here we go. Um, this looked interesting too. It's like a guide on how to build with Nano Banana, just to get an idea that you can use Nano Banana, which is part of Gemini's Flash, right? So Gemini 2.5 Flash, it's their image model. That you can create images, edit them, restore photos, get multiple input images, use conversation to edit them. I suggest people look up a Nano Banana tutorial. I think it's a really hot software. Let's see if yeah, something's going on with my NotebookLM that it's taken this long. This stuff should take like 10 seconds or something.
Right.
I wonder if I used a super big file. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if I used something really big. That might have been a complicated PDF. Commercial phishing method. This is one of the ones I've got just as an example. So let's make flashcards on this one. Some of these notebooks I have just for showing examples like this because I don't
No, that's good.
commercial
Those,
phishing.
those public notebooks, we should probably get into at some point. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then on Nano Banana, which is just like amazing how fast it just became the top image creator, right? And I know Evan loves it. So many people I talk to love it, but I'm sure Brooks will probably have a course on it coming out soon, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Top and
Um,
everything.
what else is new from ChatGPT? Where is this here? So let's say, what is the best vacation? Right? I don't know. What's the best vacation? Okay. So it's going to give me an answer. Now it's going to give me some choices. I could do a reset vacation, cabin by a lake. I could do an expansion vacation, Tokyo side streets, or a luxury vacation, right? It's got these choices. Half of ChatGPT is showing you the fork in the road or the branch or the place where you can branch off, right? Or an adventure break. Look at this. I've got 4 choices. I've got 5 choices. I've got a lot more than 5 choices, but it's giving me 5 choices, right? So, so this is the dilemma in ChatGPT is you're like, I don't know. I want to explore them all, right? So now right? I could copy this. I could say it's good or bad. I could share it with people. I could try again. More actions. Check this out. So I click the triple dots at the bottom of the response, the triple dots. There's this new feature called branch in new chat. So if I was like, you know what, David really wants the connection trip, but Michael really wants the adventure break, and we're going to do a catch up summit and retreat because Harvey wants to do something that's a luxury recharge, I could branch it into a new chat. This chat now lives as its own chat. So now I could be like, give me number 1 on this one. And if I hop back over to this guy, I could be like, give me number 2. It's a really, really cool feature. Other thing to note is that when you have projects and you can add things to projects, let's see what's a project. Fitness, right? You know what? Everybody wants to be fit, right? In the top, they've moved the instructions, right? So in any project, if you're in the project, right, you go to those dots at the top, you can edit the project and add instructions, right? So if I edit the project, I can change the name of it. And I think um, this setting can't be changed later. But if you set up your project, you can
Mhm.
have memories that just that project knows. Its memories are hidden from outside chats. So it
Interesting.
only accesses its own memory. So you can give it different instructions. You can say, this client, this project, this concept, this topic, it knows these facts that are different from the rest of my account. So
Right.
it can treat that differently, which is really cool. And then the instructions button again is up in the top right corner with the dots. Add instructions, and then you say, you know what? In this one, respond in Spanish, or always check the news, or whatever it is. There's all kinds of different things. So,
Right.
David, I'll tell you, right out of the gates, flashcards taking forever. Super disappointed that we didn't get to show that on today's show.
We can
Uh,
get into it next week. And I'll tell you, Brad, I think I love your workflow where you use different email accounts, for different clients, right? Sometimes to then, create different LLMs. Did you know that you could have your username on Gmail, then you just hit plus and then the client? Did you know this? So
I,
then,
I'm just I've heard this. I've never used it. Can I sign up for different chats with the plus?
yes, yeah, right. See, rather than creating all the different accounts, all you have to do is do plus bonds if that's a client, or plus,
Yeah.
whatever the next
Chase
client
Bank
is, or plus one, plus two, plus three. Now
plus
you don't
Warner
have,
Brothers.
now you don't have to create 10 different email accounts. You can kind of keep that all within one container. So it's really cool. Jeffrey Tipton, has been drilling that into my head, and yeah, it just makes a lot of sense, right? So that works with any Gmail email, works with any Microsoft email. And I think that's just another good tip that people could dig into. Leave us some comments if you're not clear about that. Join us at some of our events we have every week. God, we're up to like 10, 15 events every week. We got them going all over the world. I'm a little tired this morning because I stayed up for our WITI Europe event that starts at midnight my time. I was like 12:45. I was about to go, so like, let me chime in and see Raymond and Ann and some of the people there. So it was
Mhm.
good. But it's like round the clock, Brad. And plus, I had to stay up to get the latest, so we could check in this morning, which I'm sure we missed many things. Of course, we're going to find out right after we hang up.
Yeah, one of the things is that OpenAI is making what used to be the realm of Pixar. They're going to make an animated movie. They're going to do it inside of 9 months, which is extraordinarily quick for a feature film that's animated. Normally, it might take 3 years, and they're going to do it for a budget under 30 million, where some of these pictures, David, cost $300 million. So imagine that you could make 10 movies in the time it took to make one. And with streamers, especially with the youth market, it's a really promising outlook for different people. But this is ChatGPT, OpenAI. They're backing. Now, backing might mean putting their name on it and nothing else. I don't know if that means they put the money into it, they put the compute power into it, if they put their developers on it, I don't know. But they're calling it Critters with a Z. It's an animated AI film. I think it's meant to be like a feature
Oh,
film.
Critter. Wait, Critters, that's isn't that Nick's company? Um, did you oh no, yeah, no, yeah, Nick Cleverov, and I saw him at yeah, that was his, I think that was what he had created called Critters with a Z. Native foreign, great guy. I have to have him back on metal, and I ran into him for the first time at the it's NIK. No C. I ran into him at there, I think, yeah, there it is. Up the
Nick
first,
Cleverov.
yeah,
There you go. So Wall
right,
Street Journal is blocking my access to that, which is a bummer because that's right where they talk about it.
right. Not the one above it. Oh yeah, I guess that's well,
Yeah, yeah. I'm
that's just,
getting blocked by the paywall here, David.
I hear you.
Um, Latest is that big companies are making big moves. $1 billion investment in quantum computing, tens of millions of dollars to animated feature films, new features into software. Add your Google or your calendar or your timer to Claude, and let Claude schedule things for you. Find a place to go do it. Put a reminder in your calendar. Set a timer for you. Search your files. For people who are in a corporation with high levels of security, talk to your team. For people who are just using their day-to-day lives, don't put your banking in your Google Drive. I don't know. Don't put your super secret information in your Google Drive. If you're like, I wonder if the AI is going to look at my files, you should be also wondering if Google's going to look at your files. I have assumed, David, that everything I've put into Google is part of their soup. And if they really want to take Brad Rochefort's way to write a screenplay, they're going to. I don't know. Like, it's unavoidable. I send the email on Gmail. I put the file in Google Drive. The way I feel, if I now connect my Google Drive to these softwares, I'm comfortable, David, that the other billion people using the tool will have so much other data that that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think we've been using these tools for 20 years for free, and that's the price of dancing for free.
Well, right. And just when you go into new tools, nothing is free. Right. So,
Well, we talked about that last time with the Kentucky Fried Chicken that Colonel Sanders ranch chickens eat free.
exactly. Great show. Have a great week. I'm sure I'll see you later today, tomorrow,
Yep. Yep.
whatever it is.